kids boycotting school lunches you're going to love. It's 9:30, time for news, weather, traffic with Dave Stewart right here on 89 WLS. 9:37. I want to remind you to join 89 WLS at the Daily Plaza Farmers Market, presented by Country Financial this Thursday. Log on to WLSAM.com for details. Jake Hartford with John Cass in for Bruce and Dan.
Yes. Hello, Jake. What's on your mind?
There is an interesting story in the Sun-Times today about this little building at 74th and Racine that kept getting food stamps. The owners kept getting the ability to accept food stamps, from the government. Mm-hmm. And apparently over the last 10 years or so, there's been a number of businesses in there. It's supposed to be a real tiny place. You can barely sell anything in there, but you would think they'd be a huge grocery store by the amount of food stamps. And it turns out there's been a lot of fraud there. One guy went to jail. Then somebody else bought the business, and he got in trouble. And you mean
people are taking advantage of government programs to put money in their pocket in the name of feeding the poor?
Well, I think what it is the poor sometimes don't want to use the food stamps for which they were intended, and they end up wanting money, so they trade them at a discount. Is that the way that usually works?
That's how it's done. Either food in illegal operations, and I don't know if this one is, but in illegal operations, you trade it for money, discount on the dollar, or whiskey, cigarettes, and all that other good stuff.
And I'm sure people can do that. They don't have to go to a regular store to do that. They can do it in their own neighborhood. They can go to their neighbor and say, "Look, I've got $100 worth of food stamps. Why don't you give me $50 in cash for them? They're all yours."
A lot of this stuff is on the Link card now, which is a card that goes through, and I think the abuse there is just unbelievable. If you ever want to look at your tax bill and really get sick, just hold it in your hand and go to a big store in the city and watch people buy stuff with your money.
And let me just say, because every time somebody says that, don't get that confused with people who get unemployment, because they get a card also.
Yes.
And if you get unemployment, you can do whatever you want with your money. There's no restriction on it.
And you know what? People should be able to do, even if you're on welfare or whatever we're calling it now, to buy food for your family and take care of them. But whenever the government sends a lot of money at a problem, there are always people on both sides of government and private industry that are going to scam and skim, and it's the oldest story in the world. So somebody uses cards to buy 15-count jumbo prawns, nice, and then sells those to somebody else for some other considerations.
Now, we were talking yesterday about how kids around the country are rejecting the new federal standards for food in public schools, which is 850 calories maximum at lunch in a high school, 750 in a middle school, 650 in an elementary school, and they have to serve fruit and vegetables. They have to give it. Even if the kids don't want it, they have to give it. And in a lot of schools, their kids are taking it because they have to, and they just throw it away. And for example, so we were looking at one of the Chicago public schools, an elementary school, looking at what their menu is for today.
Let's hear it.
Turkey sausage pizza, turkey bologna and cheese on a bun. You get a choice. Garden veggie chef salad with pita chips, meatless. Then the sides are carrots, veggie patch, and diced peaches. And then the rules are students must select a minimum of 3 food items from the 5 food items offered. They may decline up to 2 food items, but they have to go with the fruit and vegetables.
And you must eat them?
No, it doesn't say that. They have to take that.
You must take.
And now I'm thinking, well, that is a law. And one caller yesterday said, well, that's not a law, Jake. That's just... No, it is a law. It was December 2010. It was a federal act signed into law by the president. So I was thinking to myself, I wonder what the president's kids are eating today.
Okay, let's go back on the The Chicago kids are eating turkey bologna,
turkey,
crappy
ham,
pizza.
yeah, turkey, yeah.
Right? Okay. So let's hear what the president's kids are eating at their school.
His two kids go to Sidwell Friends in Washington, D.C.,
which is the finest private school in the country.
Okay, they're going to start out today with a lentil spinach soup. Then they're going to have the panzanella salad. There's a bulgur chickpea salad also available. Well, I have no idea what that is.
That's cracked wheat, and it's very tasty.
Shaved roast beef.
Medium rare.
Any way you want it. Breaded eggplant.
Excellent.
With marinara sauce. You got to have it with the marinara sauce.
Like a fried, sauteed or fried eggplant?
Roasted autumn vegetables.
Over hardwood coals or petroleum-based coals?
It doesn't say. And then there's lemon herb risotto.
This sounds like a dinner at Valari.
Lemon herb risotto. And that's very difficult to make a good risotto.
It is, because it's time-consuming. You've got to add a little chicken stock and stir, and a little chicken stock and stir.
And it's got to stand up. It can't just collapse on the plate. It has to be thick enough where it stands up.
This is, I said, this is...
And sliced pineapple, by the way.
Oh, is it grilled pineapple or just sliced? And now, but these parents are paying for this menu.
Well, it's not a question of what they're paying for. It's not a question of money. It's a question of the calories and healthy. That's what it's a question of. And the stories we were talking about yesterday. There are schools where the kids are complaining that they're hungry. They're not getting enough. Right. They're not getting enough to eat.
And these kids are driven to school usually by limousines with security guards,
Yesterday they had French mushroom soup. I wish I would have been there.
Vichy soir would be my pick. Cold, served at about 45 degrees.
591-8900 is the phone number. Katie in Yorkville. Hey, Katie, you're on 89 WLS.
Good morning. I really enjoy your show. Thanks so much. I heard you talking about the food stamps, and I got a quick story for you. I take care of all my mom's paperwork. She lives in Wisconsin. And so because we've had problems in the past, I make sure the girls, when they shop, they use one of her checks, they write it out in front of her, and then they fill in them out at the store and then bring her the receipt, so the receipt has to match the check. Well, my mom called me one day, and she said, I've just been looking at these receipts, and at the bottom, all my groceries are being paid for in food stamps. So I looked at the checks, and sure enough, the girl that's helping her out is writing the checks out to herself. She goes, cashes them, keeps the cash, and pays for my mom's groceries with food stamps.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Katie.
You should call the local prosecutor, your state's attorney. That'd be an interesting story.
And now with traffic on the 5s at 9:45, here's Dave Stewart. 89
WLS.